Do you want to look at the highlight first, or do you want to go through it?
Let's run it. Let's just run the goal, and we'll see what happens here. So huge game. Rochester's trailing. There's a shot here coming, and by Dan Coates actually. Thomas McConvey winds up getting the ball after Andrew Borgatti. You see, he scoops it up right there. This is a great play by McConvey to tap the ball out of the stick. It's up in the air. He grabs it and dunks it home. That is a fantastic play by Thomas McConvey. And it's called originally no goal because they say through the crease first to touch the ball, which absolutely enrages Rochester coach Mike Hazen because he says they had possession. There's a shot of him on the bench as he's yelling, "They had possession." You see it over and over, and we're going to see it right here. Just read his lips. It's not hard.
No, I was thinking that as I was clipping it, and that's why I made sure I kept it in the highlight because he's clearly saying possession.
They had possession. He says it several times, and the thing is, he's right. They did have possession. Now, did McConvey was he the first player to touch the ball? Yes, he was. But I think actually that once Borgatti has possession and McConvey is then clear because he's out of the crease at that point, Borgatti establishes possession. McConvey can check him, right? Like Borgatti when he has the ball. I think Hazen's right that if that were the only issue, because McConvey's clearly in the crease here. You see his foot lands on the crease line. Borgatti comes up with the ball. He's got possession. Borgatti has possession. He cradles, he turns, for sure. The old lacrosse move. The ball pops out. That's a great view of the ball popping out. McConvey, first guy to get it. You can see Thornbert wants to get there. He's just not quick enough. Boom, the ball's in the net before you even blink, right? And that is absolutely right. And then, but they waved it off. They said first to touch, which was probably not right. But then they go back. Chris Williams goes back in and reviews it again. And I'm going to point out that I think Chris Williams is a very good referee. I think he has a great eye. I think he understands the rules really well. Not great on the mic. Not his forte. So he comes out and he goes in for the review, comes out, and he indicates quite well what the actual point of this whole call was. But the first thing he says is, we still have no goal. Nobody in Rochester wants to hear that. Hazen doesn't want to hear that. Are they listening to the rest of it? Because the rest of it is what matters. And let's watch it again. And the part is, as Borgatti goes to pick it up, McConvey is going to check. And you see Chris Williams, the ref, make the indication he checked down on him. So there, Borgatti goes to pick it up. Let it run. Right there. That is the point. Can we go back and just see that again? It's when McConvey checks Borgatti right there. He's gone through the crease. There he is in the crease. Boom. He checks the stick of Borgatti. He's come through the crease and then checks an opposing player. That waves the play down and makes it no and makes play dead. Now, they didn't call that right at the time. And honestly, I don't blame them. There's 6 guys in very close proximity, 7 if you count the goalie. There's a lot happening, a lot of feet, a lot of sticks. There's the ball. I don't really blame them for not getting that. But on second review, I guess, it becomes quite clear that as soon as McConvey checked the stick of Borgatti, play is dead. That's it. Or should have been dead. So they got it right. The problem was that when he came out and said, we still have no goal, he just shouldn't have said that. He should have just explained it and then said we still have no goal, because they got it right. They absolutely got it right. And it's a very particular detail that you have to pick up on, right? And I'll admit that at first I was like, yeah, they did have possession, but does that matter? Because he's still the first to play the ball. But then, yeah, they had possession. That resets it. So it is very tricky. And kudos to them for getting it right. Chico, next time, announce what happened before you let them know that there's still no goal, because nobody was listening.
Yeah, he did it great on the first call, essentially, when he, no goal at the end of it. And then he comes back out for this explanation. And this is as soon as he waves off the goal, like you said, everybody starts going. He's like, hang on, guys. And it's like, well, no, it's too late for this already.
But you see that he moves his hand down, so he checked down on the ball, and it's the absolute right call. And I mean, it's a huge moment in a huge game for these two teams who are both badly. I mean, New York with that win, excellent chance to be in the playoffs, something like a 67% chance. Rochester, with that loss, terrible chance to make the playoffs, something like 30% or 27%. So it's and they're down by 5, trying to get some momentum going. And Rochester's got the potential to score a bunch of goals, but they needed to get some. And I get it. I get why Hazen was upset. I get why the fans didn't like it, but it was right.
Yeah, no, that was the first time I'd ever heard that rule, actually, is I did not know. I knew, obviously, if they went through the crease, they could not be the first player to get the ball and score, but I did not realize that if you go through the crease, you also can't be involved in the play at all. I mean, you see so many times the guys, they just they stand like, like a tree, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, don't throw me the ball, I can't be involved. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Because you can't even stand, like if the ball rolls over and you've gone through the crease, you can't even stand there between an opponent and the ball and restrict them from getting to it. You have to be out of the way. Like you have to let them play the ball. And I think the really tricky part about it is that the idea is you can't go through the crease to gain an advantage, right? So that would be very subjective if you start thinking about that. So as you go through the crease, you play, because if you cut through the crease, you can shave off a few feet and get to the ball first, or get to somebody who's playing it earlier than you would have. In this case, McConvey actually, by stepping in the crease, was a little further away from Brigatti, right? It didn't give him any advantage. He just happened to step barely on the crease, and he had no idea, I don't think, as he's turning, that his left heel landed on the crease line. He's just playing hard, playing hard, going after it. It's a great play, but it's a tricky one. This is one of the more nuanced calls I think a ref has to face. So again, kudos to them for getting it right in the end.